The unilateral action that the Trump administration has taken today against every nation in the world does not come as a surprise. For Australia, these tariffs are not unexpected, but let me be clear, they are totally unwarranted. President Trump referred to reciprocal tariffs. A reciprocal tariff would be zero, not 10%. The administration's tariffs have no basis in logic, and they go against the basis of our two nations partnership. This is not the act of a friend. Today's decision will add to uncertainty in the global economy, and it will push up costs for American households. It is the American people who will pay the biggest price for these unjustified tariffs. This is why our government will not be seeking to impose reciprocal tariffs. We will not join a race to the bottom that leads to higher prices and slower growth. We will stand up for Australia. We will continue to make the strongest case for these unjustified tariffs to be removed from our exporters. Our existing free trade agreement with the United States contains dispute resolution mechanisms. We want to resolve this issue without resorting to using these, as we do support continued constructive engagement with our friends in the United States. Our shared history, our friendship, our alliance, these are all bigger than a poor decision. But the Australian people have every right to view this action by the Trump administration as undermining our free and fair trading relationship and counter to the shared values that have always been at the heart of our two nations' long-standing friendship. This will have consequences for how Australians see this relationship.
So, President Trump has just announced a series of measures that are going to fundamentally change the international trading system. Now, in doing so, he has preserved a number of important elements of our relationship, the commercial relationship between Canada and the United States. But the fentanyl tariffs still remain in place, as do the tariffs for steel and aluminum. As of this evening, the tariffs on automobiles will enter into force, and the U.S. has signaled that there will be additional tariffs in so-called strategic sectors, pharmaceuticals, lumber, and semiconductors. So we're in a situation where there is going to be an impact on the U.S. economy, which will build with time. In our judgment, it will be negative on the U.S. economy. That will have an impact on us. But the series of measures will directly affect millions of Canadians. We're going to fight these tariffs with countermeasures. We are going to protect our workers, and we are going to build the strongest economy in the G7. In a crisis, it's important to come together, and it's essential to act with purpose and with force, and that's what we will do.
美方打着对等的幌子，对包括中国在内的多国输美产品加征关税，严重违反世贸组织规则，严重损害以规则为基础的多边贸易体制。中方对此坚决反对，将采取必要措施，坚定维护自身正当利益。中方多次强调，贸易战、关税战没有赢家，保护主义没有出路。中方敦促美方纠正错误做法，以平等、尊重、互惠的方式，同包括中国在内的世界各国磋商解决贸易分歧。美国单方面加征关税，违反世贸组织规则，损害的是各国人民的共同利益，也无助于解决美方自身的问题。大家看得很清楚，越来越多的国家反对美国加征关税等单边霸凌行径。
In the past 80 years, trade between the European Union and the United States has created millions of jobs. Consumers across the Atlantic have benefited from reduced prices. Businesses have benefited from huge opportunities, leading to unprecedented growth, and prosperity. And at the same time, we know that the global trading system has serious deficiencies. I agree with President Trump that others are taking unfair advantage of the current rules, and I'm ready to support any efforts to make the global trading system fit for the realities of the global economy. But I also want to be clear. Reaching for tariffs as your first and last tool will not fix it. This is why from the outset we have always been ready to negotiate with the United States to remove the remaining barriers to transatlantic trade. At the same time, we are prepared to respond. We are already finalizing the first package of countermeasures in response to tariffs on steel, and we're now preparing for further countermeasures to protect our interests and our businesses if negotiations fail. We will also be watching closely what indirect effects these tariffs could have, because we cannot absorb global overcapacity, nor will we accept dumping on our markets. As Europeans, we will always promote and defend our interests and our values, and we will always stand up for Europe. But there is an alternative path. It is not too late to address concerns through negotiations. This is why our Trade Commissioner, Maroš Šefčovič, is permanently engaged with his US counterparts. We will work towards reducing barriers, not raising them.
はい、我が国からこれまでさまざまなレベルで我が国の懸念を説明するとともに一方的な関税措置を取るべきでない旨、などを申し入れてきたにもかかわらず米国政府が今般の相互関税措置を発表したことは極めて遺憾であります。WTO 協定及び日米貿易協定との整合性に深刻な懸念を抱いております。今般の発表を受け、改めて米国政府に対し、今般の措置が極めて遺憾であるのに伝えるとともに、措置の見直しを強く申し入れたところでございます。今般の措置をはじめ、米国政府による広範な貿易制限措置は、日米両国の経済関係、ひいては世界経済や多角的貿易体制全体等に大きな影響を及ぼしかねないと考えております。
The president in America is completely free to plot its own economic policy under the, we respect sovereignty of nation states, and that's not a surprise that this is the agenda they've wanted to run with. We disagree with that agenda. We don't think that is good for global trade. We don't think countries do well when there are high tariffs and when there are trade wars. We much more believe that goods and services should be able to move freely around the world. New Zealand has built itself into a low tariff environment. Our exporters are deeply, deeply competitive. The products and services we sell are in huge demand around the world, and that's why we're opening up as much trade with as many different countries as we possibly can. Yeah, we don't understand how that number has been calculated, and that is something that we will be discussing with the administration. But the key headline here is that New Zealand has been hit with the baseline 10% tariff that most countries have hit. Obviously, there's been other countries that have had a 30 to 40% impact as well on the tariffs that are being held to them, and that will create, at least our relative competitiveness. We've got a level playing field as we export into that market. But the reality is, the sad reality is that prices are going to go up for American consumers. That will drive inflation, that will drive interest rates up, and that will slow an economy down.